Good morning, Yonkers Voice. Today we are on the town of Greenburgh with Mr. Paul Feiner and Robert Pargament. We are going to be talking about something that is extremely important, not just to the town, just to the residents, but to everyone in the nation. Everyone, regardless of where you are. The Constitution of the United States and our First Amendment. First Amendment is not just about agreeing, pat on the back, saying good thing. It's about understanding, being able to disagree without being disrespectful. At least that's the way I see it. Let me introduce the gentlemen. Paul, everybody knows you, but give them a little bit of about yourself, who you are.
Well, I'm Paul Feiner. I'm the Greenburgh Town Supervisor, and I've been supervisor for 34 years. I was a legislator 8 years, and before that I was a political activist. And when I was a political activist, a lot of elected officials were always angry at me, and it would have been nice if they had this flag up at that time, because the important thing for government officials to realize is that the First Amendment and the Constitution encourages people to express themselves. Nobody should be afraid to be critical of anyone in government. And every time, one of the reasons why I love this flag is it will remind me that every citizen, even the people who disagree, they have a right to express themselves. And it may be painful sometimes to hear what they say, but they have a right, and that's what democracy is about. That's why people fought in wars and risked their lives or died for the country, because we're America and we have a constitution that up till now has been the envy of the world.
Isn't that what somebody very famous once said? I might disagree with you, but I will die for the right of you to say so.
Right, and I think that's really important. People all over the world always looked up to the United States. We were a real democracy, and now people are afraid. CBS is afraid. All these major law firms are afraid. The top universities in the United States, they're afraid. Everybody's giving up on democracy, and before you know it, we're going to lose democracy unless we speak out and work really hard to make sure that our Constitution survives. I don't want to see happening in the United States what is happening all over in the world, former democracies where it's becoming autocratic.
It's like the nation, major media, they all intimidated of speaking. They're afraid of what comes next.
Right, and I'm not afraid. And I almost feel bad that I'm not doing more. So I'm really thrilled that this flag is in my office. And a few days ago I was at the Greenburgh Town Park, and I was wearing a T-shirt with the flag. I want people to know that I'm not going to be afraid to speak out, and I hope other people are going to feel the same way, because what's going to happen is if we keep being silent, before long, much before long, quickly, we're going to lose our democracy.
If you silence, you compliance.
Right. And, I know during World War II, during the Holocaust, a lot of Jews, first they found some of their rights were taken away, and they said, oh, we could live with that. Then they were sent to a ghetto. Oh, we could live with that. And gradually, then they put a star on them. Oh, we could live with that. Before long, they lost everything. And if you don't speak out, now we're going to lose our democracy. And I really hope that people will start standing up and saying, this is the Constitution, we're not going to take it, and we're not going to let the President or Congress
or whoever,
whoever destroy our country and what was so great about it.
Robert,
Yes.
let's go to you. Your work, your vision, I'm sure that you are personally attached, that we all should be personally attached to our Constitution and to our First Amendment. It's sacred. This is why many people died for for us to have the right to speak, for us to have the right to disagree. Now, let me point it out. We are not talking specific about either side. We are talking about the Constitution and our First Amendment rights, correct? Tell us about the vision. Tell us about what came, how this came, the support that you're having or not having, and why.
Great question, Ru. So this was actually created back in 2003, as you can see from the mark on the flag. And it was another time in which constitutional rights were being questioned or possibly eroded. So I wanted to come up with a symbol, a very simple, elegant symbol that combines, three elements basically: the preamble of the Constitution, the outline of the United States, and a hint of the red, white, and blue in the background to suggest that it's patriotic to revere the Constitution. So this flag is a unifying, nonpartisan message. Anybody can agree with it. People on the right, Republicans, can see something in this. People on the left can see something, and people in the middle can see whatever they want to see. But it's to remind people that the Constitution is the scaffolding on which the whole system is based. There really is no national image that suggests that, to my knowledge. So this is a way of just saying to people, this is who we are. This is the Constitution of the United States, the framework on which it's all based.
Then what's wrong with that? So why are some people opposing? What you said is beautifully said, and it doesn't mean that you're on this side or that side of the political spectrum. That means you are on the side of United States of America. Yes. That's what we fought for. Those are the pillars of our nation.
Yes, they are. So it is nonpartisan. That's the beauty of it. There's really nothing that anybody can object to, other than to just to see the message, which is unifying. It's also a civics message. In today's world, I don't think civics are taught quite as strongly as they should be to our young people. So seeing the Constitution in this very simple, clear, clean way says, this is who we are. This is our real essence. This is the structure. This Constitution is the envy of the world. It always has been, and I want to keep it that way.
Then the million-dollar question is, why are people opposing?
I don't think many people are opposing it. I've actually heard very little opposition. On a political level, I'll let Town Supervisor speak to it more with greater experience than I have. I get approvals from everybody on all sides, from Republican in the middle and Democrats on the other side. This unifies us. This pulls us together. So it's actually a unifying message.
And I'd like to encourage people who are opposed to aspects of the big beautiful bill and some of the policies of the president to hold this flag at different rallies. I know it was done in Yonkers last week. This should be, to me, a national symbol of the resistance movement, because I think that if this would catch on, it will make everybody on all sides reflect on how important it is to preserve the Constitution. Now, I could say, my concern is the First Amendment, but 3-4 years ago, there were Republicans and conservatives, and they were concerned because people like myself feel strongly about gun control and gun safety measures, and they were saying, we look at the Constitution. The Constitution says we have a right to bear arms. And people like myself don't believe in guns, really. So the thing is, they were critical of that aspect. So it goes both ways. There's things that the Democrats, are doing that Republicans may not like, and there's things that Republicans are doing that Democrats don't like. But we always have to look at the Constitution and reflect and say, we don't want to erode the Constitution. That's the key. So I could see this flag being something that all sides will at some point really appreciate it and use.
I often tell people that the Constitution is much deeper than the Second Amendment. Okay, the Second Amendment is not the only clause that matters. If you fight for the Second Amendment based on the Constitution, you also have to fight for
freedom of speech, right to assemble, freedom of religious expression, all of these things that are encapsulated in the Constitution.
It's not pick and choose what you agree and what you want.
And that is great. That is like such a good point that you made. the Constitution is not pick and choose. There's things that I may not always like, or I would do it differently, and there's things that other people don't like. But in a democracy, we have to always reflect on the Constitution and constantly read it and say, we're going to preserve it. We're going to preserve our democracy. Because I'm really afraid that a couple of years from now, you won't even have elections. Or there'll be an excuse to suspend them. And that's what my fear is. Just because we've had democracy doesn't mean we're going to keep democracy.
For the way I see things, there is no guarantees any longer. Things can change in 1 minute.
There definitely are no guarantees that our democracy is going to survive. And if everybody, all the people who are so powerful, they're giving in. So we have to. If they're afraid, then the average person has to say, I'm going to stand up, I'm going to speak out, and I'm not going to be afraid.
So again, let's emphasize, this is not about Republicans. This is not about Democrats. This is not about the Zebra Party or the new party that might be about to coming up. This is about the Constitution of the United States. This is about our First Amendment rights. Regardless of which party you belong to, you should carry that principle, the First Amendment rights, very proudly. That's why we are who we are today. But there is no guarantees that we will continue to be who we are today.
You said it perfectly. In fact, if you ran for office, I'd vote for you.
Guys,
Can I add one more thing?
You can
I
add
just want to
anything you
commend
like,
this
sir.
man for having the courage and the foresight, the insight to support this. This is a strong, conscientious man.
But but it's not. I'm not the only one. The Manhattan Borough President
Yes,
has
oh,
had
yes.
this flag up.
It's in the congressional record. It flies in law firms, businesses right here in Westchester have it in their lobbies. This is a message that really is being spread.
so this is a powerful message in an image.
Yes.
But let's not bury our heads on the sand. There is people here in your town, Mr. Your name, I'm sorry, Feiner. There is people right here in your town that are not supporting this and are having a little bit of how do you call it, conscience war against themselves about supporting or not supporting.
Everybody on the town board liked the image. They had some concerns because the code, the flag code, indicates you're not supposed to put anything over the flag. But President Trump's image is over the American flag. So we contacted Senator Schumer's office, and they said, you know what? If you're going to be very, very strict about it, you shouldn't have the Constitution over the flag. But since everybody's been abusing it, from department stores to merchandise to the President of the United States to President Trump to the Republican Party, Democrats have done it, then they shouldn't really be afraid. So I wanted to put this up at the flagpole, and the board didn't want to do that. But they all said at the meeting, if I want to put it up in my office, nobody's going to stop me, and that's what I did. But I sometimes feel that sometimes you have to be proactive, and you have to do things because once they see more and more people doing it and more government officials putting the flag in their office, then a few months from now they may change their mind and say, okay, we'll put it up on the flag poles also. If other communities put it up on their flag poles, this could really catch on.
So the concern is how the image is
Right.
imposed and superimposed
over the flag.
over the flag. But there is no issues with somebody hugging the flag, face on top of the flag, the flag on top of the face. That is okay.
Right, and in fact, maybe when you're showing your story, you could show images of President Trump's face over the flag. And if his face is over the flag, why can't the Constitution be over the flag?
Look, I've been doing this for a long time. They're going to tell me that's a fake image that I'm putting up. They're going to say it's an AI image. That they're going to find all types of excuses to justify what we see there and what we see here. So people, if you agree with these, if you agree with what Mr. Feiner is saying, Robert is saying, leave a comment. Okay, let us know what you think. Remember, this is not about the political party. This is about the nation. This is about the First Amendment. This is about this whole thing that we call United States of America, that people died for the freedoms that we enjoy today. That's what this is all about.
Great, and thank you so much for participating in this meeting and interviewing us.
The pleasure is all mine.
Thank you too.
Is there anything to close this interview that came to mind that you want to say that I haven't asked?
It's just simply that, this subtle red, white, and blue background is to just remind us of the patriotism of revering the Constitution. This is, again, the scaffolding. This is the system on which it all comes together for everybody. That's all it really says.
So now let's move out a little bit so the camera can actually come and take a close-up.
And I'd just like to say, don't be afraid. Don't do what CBS is doing. Don't do what all the billionaires are doing, because they're all afraid. Don't be like the members of Congress who disagree privately with what the president is doing, but publicly they're giving in. If we are going to continue to have a democracy, we need people who are going to stand up and express themselves and not be afraid or intimidated about the ramifications. And I told everybody, if I ever go to jail because I spoke out, I'm a vegetarian.
Good enough. So now let's move away. Let's capture this image, Paul. Take a little step back so the camera can capture the images. Stay centered.